Alright guys, we are back again, and like I said in the last episode, we are going to be looking at implementing the responsiveness. So if we come back to our Trello board, we are going to be working on implementing the mobile responsiveness, and we've dragged that to doing. And if we come back here, we can quickly inspect this page, and we want to click on this if it's not active yet. So by default, this is what it's going to look like. But if you are going to work with responsiveness, you most likely want to click on this. So that way you can circle through different views. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like on this view and so on. And it can be specific in terms of device you want to check it against. So maybe an iPhone 12 Pro, then you get to see, and so on. So that's literally the whole idea about using this view for your responsiveness. Okay, so responsiveness in general kinds of involve you trying different things to see what works for you. So let me just refresh this page. So by default, on checking it on the 768 width, you can see that there is no padding. So this is something we want to look into. Then also, as you shrink the width, you get to see how things get clustered together. So those are the things we want to adjust. If we are going to go over this individually, like checking things and making adjustments, then we might not complete this tutorial today. So what I would do instead is I'm going to kind of take a part, work on it, and show you what I did and what the result was. So yeah, that's how we are going to work on that. So on that note, we are literally going to start with what we can see on the screen. So as we shrink, we can see that everything just shrinks together. There is no space at the side. And yeah, our target for now is just going to be for 1024. And I'll make these changes. So without any further ado, let's get digging. So for the first part, all I need to change is my padding settings here. So by default, it's 0, but now I've added 20 pixels from each side to it. Now if we check back, we can see now we have space at the side. So yeah, we are done with that part. So the next part is going to be the real view. So as of now, we have 3 sections. So what happens when we shrink? And our consideration can be made based on the different screens we want to check it on. So if we are on 1024, then this looks nice. However, as we grow smaller, then it becomes clustered. So what we want to do is, this particular view is going to last at 1024. So anything lesser than that would have a 2-column view. So that means the top block is going to come down and the other parts are going to remain at the top. So let's work that out. Alright, so after making my adjustments, here is the result. So before we actually check the result, let me quickly show you what I did. So coming back to my block layout, I added this new line, medial spring, and maximum width 1023. So I'm using 1023 because I want that to last at 1024. So once we get to this size or lesser, then we change this to a 2-column grid. And as a result of that, we have this. So if I return back to 1024, then we have it back as a 3-column grid. And if we expand it, it remains 3-column grid. However, once we get to 1023 and lesser, then it becomes 2. And the top block comes down. And I think this is okay. And like I said before, to implement the pagination for this, we can probably have our pagination information shown here or at the bottom, and we will still be okay with that. So yeah, that's another thing. So these spaces can now be used as ads, because most times when you create a blog project, you want to create an avenue to monetize your posts by making it trend, so you can have different ads showing on your screen. Okay, so yeah, that works. So we are good on that. However, if we even scroll down, so let's try 768. So 768 seems to still be okay. However, I think when we go downward, then things become clustered. So I'll probably make my check from anything less than 700. Okay, so once it's less than 700, then we want to reduce it some more. So let's quickly work that out. Alright, so here's my code as well. So whenever the spring is at maximum of 700, so that's 700 and less, then I'm removing the template column entirely. So you might be tempted to have this as repeat 1, then 1fr, and that will work, but that is just setting a grid when it's really not necessary. So removing the grid at that point just works better. And as a result of that, this is what it looks like. So we have the tech, we have the latest news, and we have the top blog. Okay. So one thing we can do to make this better is to add some space into our special blog, and let's quickly do that. So I just came to the special card and add a margin button to it. Okay, so with that now we have enough space demarcating the tech, or rather the special blog, the latest news, and the top blog. And we are good on that. So we are almost through with the home page. However, what is left now is the menu, as we can see here. So the way I want to work with this is I'm going to kind of demarcate this. So this section is going to be static. This section will be static as well. However, this section will be fluid. So what that means is that each individual tag is going to have their specific width, and they're always going to maintain that. However, when you shrink the width, it overflows inside it, okay? So overflows horizontally, okay? So that's what we are going to work with, and let me quickly start with that. So first thing first, I'm going to add an extra div here so as to exclude this particular section from the other parts. And that means we are going to adjust our style a little bit. Also, this is just an opportunity to remove this since we are no longer using it. Let's just remove that. So now I've added this extra div, and what we can do, like I've explained, is we are going to ensure that the tag menu date and the tag menu dropdown remains static. So here, I'll go ahead and update the style and show us the result for that. Alright guys, after playing around with this for a couple of minutes, here's what I have as a result. So now if we shrink this page, you can see that the tag menus go within the whole thing. So if I kind of go over this, then we get to see how the tag menus are laid out. So yeah, with that said, let's go back into the code and show what we've done. So first thing first, I added an extra class to this to just make sure that I'm able to control this separately. And I called it tag dates. And yeah, I'm sure we are aware of this already. So coming back here, I changed the settings for the tag items from a flex to a grid. And this is the structure for the grid. So 100 for the tag date, then 1fr, that means it takes the remaining of the space available. Then 60 for the toggle. Then I give it an height of 60 as well. And also for the tag items, I gave them a grid display as well. And here is the grid templates column. So this is set to auto fit so that it fits perfectly to the available space. Then here I have a min mass. So min being 90 pixel, then 1fr. So the whole idea of the min is that if you have multiple items and they are able to fit in together, as long as they are not less than 90 pixel, then it works. However, if that does not work, then it takes the 1fr precedence. And yeah, I have the height as 100%. And this is the major deal, overflow hidden. Then the tag remains the same. Everything is still the way it is. The only addition now is the test align, which is now center. Then for the tag date, I just made some adjustments. So I removed the padding and set the test align to be left, because if you remember, the tag itself is controlling the tag date also. Then I set the padding left to be 20 pixel, and that's all we have to do here. The third rule remains the same. And with that, we are able to get this. So if we expand, then we get everything. And if we shrink, it goes out until we are left with just one. So just to be sure, we can quickly check different screen. So this is 12 Pro, Pixel 5. And one thing you take note is this, okay? So in order for us to even have a better control, we can add some settings here, which I will leave for us to undo. I'll probably do something on my end before I update. But I want us to understand the whole concept of how to undo responsiveness. Okay? yeah, I think we are done with this part. So let's click on one of the tags to go to our block by tag. And as we can see on this screen size, things are beginning to cluster together. So we can also make some adjustments for this. So let's quickly do that. So what I did for the tag layout, if we come back to our style, is at this particular screen, just like we added for the block layout, I revert things from 3 FR to FR to 1 FR. It means both of them are having the same section, okay? Contrary to the block content having more width like we used to. So if we shrink out, we get to see this until we get higher, then that ratio comes back. So again, just like we add with the block layout, as soon as we are less than or equals to 700 pixels, then we want to remove the colon as well. So let's check this out. So if we come to a small screen, then we get this. And that works quite well. I think I like that. Also, looks like I made a mistake with my body setting. So let's come back to the style. So here I set for both HTML and body. So that's why we are kind of having a double padding here. So the HTML itself sets the padding, the body also sets its padding. So that shouldn't be the case. So we want to extract this to just the body. So by default, the HTML and body is 0. Then we can extract just the body and have the padding as 0, then 20 pixels. Well, I think I copied everything. Yeah, let's just have that. So now that double padding should be out. Yeah, this is more or less like it. So with this, we are also done with the block by tag, okay? So finally, we can work with the single block page. And as of now, we can see what it looks like. So again, the same procedure. So this is where I'll probably recommend we try it ourselves. And let's see what we have. And I'll give us some time to do that.
A few moments later.
All right, guys, welcome back. I believe you've tried your implementation. If it works, then great. And if you're unable to achieve it, let's quickly do it together. So coming back into the single block page, so we find the single block layout. So again, let me quickly work with the styling here, and I'll get back to us. So in the case of the single block layouts, I had to remove the grid itself at this stage, so 768, and that gives us this. So since it's a single block, I think it makes sense to have that as the focus. And this is what we have, and the comment comes under, and you can add your comment. Every other thing should still work. And also, if we come down to a smaller screen, we have things the way it should. Okay, so the reason why I'm actually walking us through how to set up responsiveness for this is that I found out that some people tend to do so much all in the name of trying to implement responsiveness. However, what really matters is having to know the necessary points and what you want to adjust at that point. And as you can see, we didn't have to do so much to be able to adjust things the way it should. Okay? So, yeah, technically, this is where we are going to be rounding up. I will leave the rest for us to adjust the way we want. I believe we can still adjust the text to be even smaller, considering that we are on a smaller screen and stuff like that. So yeah, that would be a decision for us to make. And on this note, I would drag this to done. So in the next episode, we'll be looking at deploying what we have so far. Bear in mind that at some point in the future, we are still going to implement the pagination for this because obviously we are going to have lots of blog posts. And the best thing to do at that point is to be able to paginate to see all the blogs you have. So yeah. There we have it, guys. So again, I will solicit that we leave a thumbs up if we enjoyed the episode and the series in general. And also, if you have any information you would like to share with us, kindly leave it in the comment section. So we are drawing closer to rounding up this series, and I can't wait to just have it rounded up already. So bye, guys, and see you in the next episode.